Good evening. This is Karen McKnight, and it's the Underhill Conservation Commission for a special meeting for November 18th, 2025. So I'd like to welcome everybody here. It's wonderful to have everyone. We have a quorum and we're ready. So welcome, and have some really good news coming up. Yes. So are there adjustments to the agenda? Does anyone have adjustments to the agenda?
I was wondering, sorry, I'm a little disorganized. I was wondering, could we approve the minutes after we use the minutes to remind us of old business? Could we put them? Could we approve them afterwards, so we go through the old minutes for the old business and then approve them? Would that be all right?
We're going to go through the minutes for the old business after we've already discussed the old business then. Sort of.
Yeah, kind of like approve them after that, so that we would have, gone through it and seen what it was. In case we need to add anything.
Certainly, we can just reorganize that. Okay. Okay, so we're going to move item 7 to the very end
Of the old business.
of the old business. All right, did you get an agenda? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is very self-serving, but I'm only here for half an hour because I have a 7 o'clock scout meeting.
Yes.
So could we?
I can stay.
He can stay. We drove separately.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, I would love for him to share out while I'm here the Eagle Scout stuff, but it's okay if it doesn't get to it.
Okay, well, we can do that.
bump it up.
Yeah, we'll bump that up
It's self-serving. I'm sorry.
after the public comment. I don't think, and well, you're here as public, but your comment was that, so, all right, I'm good with that. All right, yeah, so you'll be first on the agenda, are you set?
I'm pretty much ready, yeah.
You ready? All right, good, I'm happy you're here.
I'm excited to be here.
Take it away.
Oh, right now? Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
my project, I've moved forward. I don't know, you guys might have read through this. This was just a very brief description of my paperwork. I've done a lot more detailed work on my paperwork now, and I've moved forward to the next step. And I've already done my fundraising, and I was able to raise $2,417.
Was that the bake sale?
Yeah, that was a big sale.
We'd like to know how you did that.
So I just did all donated baked goods, and then whatever people felt like donating, they could donate and take as many baked goods as they wanted.
Wow.
So people were pretty generous with 20s here and 50s. One guy.
That's for a cookie. Lots of people.
Yeah, that's
Were you in your uniform?
Yeah, I was in my
Okay.
uniform. I had scouts and
And was it at Jerry Hill?
Yes.
It was at Jerry Hill, and I
I
had a,
didn't get there, that was too bad. I was there,
yeah, it's
I
like
bought a lot.
Karen was one of those generous people.
No, I ate it all.
they're all very good.
And I was going to share with my neighbors and I never.
Oh, you never got to it?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt
No,
you.
that's all good. Yeah, and then people were very generous. And I had a whole spiel about what I was going to do with the conservation. I had photos of the sign and your map, and a lot of people have heard about it, and they really enjoy walking up there. And I think it's such a beautiful place and a nice place in Underhill. And they're happy to hear that I was going to be constructing a footbridge and plexiglass cover over the signs, because a lot of people were discouraged to hear that a lot of your stuff got torn down.
Yeah.
Which it is pretty sad.
Yeah.
And the signs I've been working on I've got all my materials collected and at home now for making the signs and the bridge. And the signs now is just going to be like what you guys have. It's a 1x4 piece of wood. It's going to be 10 inches long, and it's going to have like a 45 to make an arrow. And I'm going to paint a lot of them blue and some of them green and purple, like your map indicates. And then because of the neighbor who's like had some lawsuit issues, I was originally, as part of my project, going to be installing everything, but my advisors for my Eagle Scout project said that I shouldn't affiliate Scouts with it. So then I'll just be donating it to you and then coming back as a civilian and then helping install everything.
Oh,
So I'll help with the signs. But my
you'll take
dad,
off your shirt.
yeah, I
right,
would just
and
take
then-
off my shirt and then I'm a civilian.
Yeah, okay.
And with the bridge, my dad would either drop it off at the town garage like we talked about on the phone, or he could donate it right into place on the conservation. But I don't know which one you guys would prefer if it was.
We'll have to give them dates.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
this weekend on the 23rd is when I would be constructing the bridge for my project. My dad would like to drop it off either that day on the 23rd or the 24th, which is the next day. So I know it's a little bit short, or it's close timing for you guys, but he said he would talk to Russ at the town garage and
Yes.
see what he
Oh,
thinks.
your dad is going to?
Yeah,
Or-
he said he would.
Oh,
I don't
okay,
know if
'cause
he
I
does.
I'll swing back too. to just-
Yeah, both of you could. That'd probably be better. I don't know if he will. He might forget, but he said he would. And yeah, I'd either have it dropped off there or drop it into place. But I don't know if you guys want it for the winter or in the spring. Whichever would be best.
So get it, might as well put it in place.
Put it in place.
Yeah.
That's,
Do
Maybe.
you have the time? You said you were going to help with that, though, to put it
Oh
in
yeah,
place. Would
my
you
dad
rather
would.
do
I
that?
was thinking the signs is when I'd put up all the signs with you guys. And that would probably be like a next spring thing or just sometime in winter because it's kind of cold.
Yeah.
But with the signs, they'll have like pre-drilled holes in them, so all you have to do is just go up to a tree and just screw it in.
We might be able to do that though in the fall, if they're ready. If they're
Yeah.
ready, yeah.
They should all be done. The signs will take an extra day, so I'll hopefully have those done by the 24th because I'm painting and then putting a coat of polyurethane over, so then they'll be protected from the elements.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's gonna be so nice.
And you're leaving, and you tell them how many you're making so that you'll have a stack of replacements. So that like a year from now or 2 years from now or 3 years from now, if you need to replace some signs or some signs have disappeared, you can just pull from that stack and they'll all be painted and polyurethane and ready for you to go. So he's making, I forget how many in each color.
Oh, I don't know how many in each color, but I have 12 foot 1x4, so that's
This is
like
public math we're
Yeah,
doing
it's like-
here.
Yeah.
it's like 7.
He's just cutting them off.
Yeah.
It's like 13 times 7, so it's like 70, 30. Yeah, I don't know.
Sounds like a
So
lot
it's
more
gonna be a
than
lot
are
of
needed
signs.
right
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
Right? They're going to be,
Yes.
they're going to be
They'll have-
extras.
Yeah, there will be extras. So then if someone shoots off your signs like what's happened in the past,
Oh.
you don't have to worry about making new ones. You can just put up a new one.
I like the simplicity that you've moved to with just the arrow.
Yeah, I wanted to do a lot more, but it's really hard with all the process and all the specific things I have to do with the Eagle paperwork.
Yeah.
Just a lot of nitty gritty details that it would have been really hard to do.
Do you think it would be possible or advisable to have a couple of signs that had, the angle on both ends?
Yeah.
Like, remember when that one trail when you hit up against that logging road? Like if the trail goes both ways?
Oh, right,
Yeah.
you mean the old entrance from Irish Settlement?
Yeah, Irish Settlement down to the picnic
Yeah.
table.
Yes,
When
yeah.
that trail comes up and hits it, it goes both ways, right? And so one
Yes.
is the parking lot and one's Irish Settlement. You think maybe something with 2 arrows, like one on each end,
So
to show that that's,
that'd be in the green one. Like
Yes.
this up, yeah, with the
I
green.
think it is, yeah.
Yeah. Could definitely do that. So I'm going both ways. I could also do that for. I was thinking for a blue one. I know where this trail, or maybe I'll hold it up to this, and then you guys can look on the TV.
oh,
Oh yeah,
that's clever.
this.
Or
This is kind of hard actually.
I might be able to just pull it up here.
Yeah, I don't know if that's, but there's one where it's a little bit confusing. It's like a freeway intersection.
Yeah, I know exactly.
So,
Yeah.
do some double signs there. So yeah, I'll do that. And then the plexiglass, I have a frame already built.
Good stuff.
This, put it up there. I don't know. It's just the frame already, and it'll have the plexiglass go in the frame, and then it'll be up on your already existing board up there. Or you guys can just pass it. You already saw it. But it's just a plexiglass. It'll have the plexiglass in it in a frame.
And you
And
said
it'll-
there'll be, go ahead, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, there will be hinges on it. So then you guys can just open it, and then on the other side it'll have a lock. And I'll be donating the 4-digit spin master lock as well, so you guys can make your own code. So then you guys will all know the code.
Yeah.
And you can go up at any time
Oh,
and put up new stuff.
I think
Oh,
you
nice.
saw it. It's good. Yes, I saw this. Very
So the
exciting.
plexiglass is gonna be set in the frame, which is great, instead of threw it on the outside or
Yeah.
inside.
I-
For those of you who didn't hear that.
Um,
The money that's left over.
yeah, all the money that's left over will be donated to you guys at the conservation.
Whoa,
So
really?
wow.
it should be like, based off my budgeting, there should be like $900, $1,000 left, I think. That'll be coming to the conservation.
So total you raised was 2,017.
Like 417, I think. And
Yeah, that's what I thought you said.
Some odd cents.
Yeah. I thought to myself, well, maybe I got that wrong.
No, it's a lot. I was very blown away. In the first hour, I had already made $600.
Wow. You need to be the poster boy for, for all.
So you'll come join the conservation
Fundraising.
commission as a
Yeah.
member?
Yes.
To help put up with the signs.
Oh, I mean in
Just in
general.
general.
In general, I mean, sure.
Inspire us.
You could be in charge of marketing and funding.
Well, you might want to do projects with us.
I wouldn't mind if
Yeah.
I
I
get
think-
looped
I
in the
think you
emails.
would.
I would do some
Yeah.
projects up there.
Yeah,
But I think it's a great place.
yeah, it is. It's really beautiful.
It's been a good project for him, which is good. So the only details that you need to know are if you can install it on Sunday.
Yeah, the next
And if-
day.
Yeah,
That's this coming Sunday, right?
No, the 24th.
yeah,
Or-
this Sunday. That's
This
this
is
Sunday. It'd be this Sunday in the afternoon.
Wait, this Sunday is the 24th?
Yeah, believe it or
Sorry.
not.
Yeah.
On flags.
Yeah. And if it can't happen, we're around all next week.
Yeah. My dad just wanted it off his trailer, but he'd also just set it off at our house somewhere or at the town garage.
But
Thank you.
if you can move it once, that's probably the easiest, just to move it and put it right in place.
And then the signs I'd probably bring here because they won't be done that same day, or they probably need a couple more days to dry. So
Okay,
then I'd probably come to one of these meetings and then have a box full of signs for you guys.
yeah, we'll have a meeting, is it December? Next meeting, this is a special meeting because we didn't meet last week.
Yeah.
So I think it's the next meeting.
It's the first Monday of the month, correct?
Second,
Second.
ordinarily.
Sorry.
9th, I think, is the second Monday. December 9th.
I think you're right. Yes. Yeah. I think I already put it in my calendar.
Put
Yes,
it in that.
yeah. So that'll be wonderful.
So
Hey there.
the only-
So, do you need someone to meet you there Sunday to help with the bridge, or?
Probably not like practically wise, because my dad will just be doing it with his excavator probably, but maybe for
Maybe for a photo op for your
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Eagle album, like he just has to prove that like he's actually handed it over and that someone has
Yeah.
accepted
Yeah.
it. And you'll have to sign off on some more paperwork eventually, but
Well, we'll know the time. Like-
I can call you or text you,
You just,
but
or just set
probably,
a time. You got to get out of work.
Yeah, I'd have to
He's
get
work
over.
at Jerry Hill, so he's trying to get someone to cover him for the afternoon.
Or it could just be after 4.
It's
yeah,
it's dark.
it's dark. I think it's
Yeah, it is
dark.
dark.
It's dark, so, yeah. Maybe later though in the afternoon, maybe it's still light at 3. But at 4, I was
Yeah.
looking at my watch at 4 thinking,
Yeah.
oh,
It's
I'm
too
never
dark.
gonna,
Yeah.
I'd have to try and
You
get
just
out
have
of
to
work.
get your shift covered.
I could probably do that.
So that would be great to maybe copy all of us that time,
Yeah.
because if others can come besides Karen, it would be great.
yeah, I think it would be
Yeah.
wonderful.
Maybe
Yeah.
we could get
Good
some
photo op.
photos.
Photo op.
Yeah.
hot cocoa or cider.
And just sort of something to cheer you on as well.
Yeah, yes,
All your emails are in the email that gets sent out to the conservation.
Yeah.
yes.
So I'll just look in there and then
That'd be great.
send an email.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful. How exciting.
Yes, that'd be fun. You could bring your boys and then they'd learn how to install a bridge.
Yeah, for sure. No, Gabriel was a Cub Scout, so he'd love to see an Eagle Scout and what they do.
Oh, yeah.
So this is more like a boardwalk, right? More
Yeah,
like
it's basically a
boardwalk
boardwalk. It's
than that.
12
It's not really a
it's-
bridge with handrails and
Yeah.
that sort. It's just a
Yeah.
boardwalk.
Yeah, it's
Right.
12 foot long and 4 foot wide, so it's pretty big.
Okay.
It's to, as you're going down the hill, there's this wet
Yeah.
ditch. And
Right.
everything. Yeah. And did you measure the distance?
Yeah, I don't like the distance.
I know 12 feet intimately now,
Mhm.
having put down 12-foot hemlock boards to make this.
Oh, wow.
The plan has changed a couple
It
of
is pretty big.
times.
It's heavy, yeah.
When his advisors had heard that the last bridge had disappeared, they made this one like much heavier.
Wow.
It's really heavy.
So this is.
So this bridge is so
Yeah.
heavy.
Oh, Betsy.
Oh, you've seen it, Betsy?
Oh.
Have you seen it?
Yes,
So
Betsy.
That's
the base of it is
Yeah,
3
that's what I second guessed myself.
Yeah,
That's
that's
substantial.
nice. That's nice.
Wow.
And this is going to be super safe.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to worry about people slipping.
Or
Yeah, because there's
being
gonna,
so narrow that yeah,
there's,
that's nice.
there's gonna be chicken wire rolled out across it and stapled down.
That's a
so then-
great idea.
Oh,
I've
to
been
keep people
seeing
from
that
slipping
lately.
Yeah.
Nice, nice.
Nice
It's a great
idea.
Awesome.
Anything else that you need to know for your project or anything else that you need?
Don't think so. But I'll stay and listen to whatever else you guys are talking about if you don't mind.
No, I don't mind.
Just to
No,
hear.
you're welcome.
Hey, you should join.
Yes, you
No, I
can.
don't mind.
I have to go to the Boy Scout meeting.
Oh,
Report back that he's all set for this weekend, which is great. So thank you all.
well, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
See you on Sunday.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, enjoy. Yeah, thank you. Great. Okay, so, yeah, this is great. I really,
I'm really excited. I've definitely procrastinated a while. I probably could have gotten it done sooner, but it's good. It's getting done anyway, so
it's
that's all
okay.
that matters.
I could have done this golf sooner too, but I didn't.
Sure.
It's good. And as long as it's good weather, it'll be perfect.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be decent.
I mean, that'll be fantastic. Well, thank you so much. It'll be good.
Yeah.
All right, so now let's see, shifting back, we're going to do conservation small talk.
I think that's Lori.
Yes, we have Laura. Hi.
Awesome. Great. So before we get started in that, I just want to make sure I see Mike on the screen. I didn't know if there was a public comment from Mike at all, or
We can't hear you. Are you?
Mike is frozen.
Mike's frozen.
okay.
Mike, if you can hear us, sometimes if you turn off your camera, it'll save bandwidth, and then you can just talk. See if we can talk.
Can you hear us?
And
He can probably type his message too.
Oh, yeah, you can. Where is that on this?
type in the chat.
Chat. It's like the message icon in the top right. It's like the fourth one to the left, next to the person.
Oh, next to the person? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I see it. It's just I have to get there. So, may I say a few? Yes, you may. But if you can't, we can't hear you, you can type what you want to say in the chat.
If he can't hear us, you might want to type that in there,
Okay.
Karen.
Yeah. Okay, yes,
All right.
calling in would be good.
Yeah, that's great.
And how do we do that?
Well,
Would it
the
be okay
telephone
if I
number,
What number, whose phone is it? No.
it's his, if he calls in,
Oh, it calls right into the computer? I mean, you
Yes.
hear it? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
so we'll
I
see.
thought it was a town office number or something.
Mm.
Do you guys want me to get started with my very brief conservation small talk?
Oh, he does not have the app?
Sure.
No, I think you just,
You know what? He could just call into my phone. How about that? We just give him my phone number and I can just put it on speakerphone.
Probably fine. I don't know.
I think it has a toll-free phone number at the bottom of the
yes,
agenda.
yeah,
But
so he
He
can
can do
just
that.
call in.
yeah,
Can you hear this
Yeah.
number?
Mike, will you just try that and
he's,
we'll call
he's
out the
off
number?
right now.
Read him the number.
433?
He's not on.
383? Oh,
He left.
I think it's just me.
oh, I missed the, that's not even the right phone.
Hi, there you are.
Hi there.
Hi, Mike.
Hi. So,
Hi, folks. Can you hear me?
yes, we can. You can hear us?
Am I interrupting? And I can hear you. Am I interrupting somebody else speaking? Because I think I just popped into your meeting.
No, you're not interrupting.
So my name's Mike Kiernan, and I'll just take a few minutes, if I may. Our organization is called Be the Change, BE the Change, and our job is creating pollinator habitat. And so we're working on a space up in Underhill, and I wanted to make sure you guys were, just because as I look at your Conservation Commission page, I can see that you.
I think we lost you.
Oh, darn.
All right, this is so hard.
There. Okay, we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. So should I start over? I'm sorry.
Well, you were wanted to create pollinator habitat?
It started in solar fields and have done that in 4 states, but are trying to create an acre of habitat down in Vermont. And so we are working on this at the Underhill Central School. Can you hear me?
I think we're having trouble hearing you. We lost. Can you repeat that? It was about something about the Underhill Central School.
Does Mike have an email address that I could send my phone number to him and he could just call my phone? Mike, did you hear that? Do you have an email address or that I could send? Or I'll tell you my email address. You could send your phone number to me and I'll call you on my phone and put it on speakerphone. You're cutting in and out.
I'll go back to the map. Oh, bro. It won't let me back into the meeting.
So, did you hear us? What do you want? If we can call you on a private phone and put it on the speaker because we are having trouble hearing you. Oh, yes.
To give you a phone number, 802
802
349-2741.
349-2741.
Hi, is this Mike? Mike, hold on, I'll put you on speakerphone.
Okay.
Okay.
Is the volume up?
Yeah, as far as I can go.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. I'll speak louder. How's this?
Great. Oh, that's good.
Thank you for bearing with.
And so our organization's task is creating pollinator habitat. We started a decade ago, and that was mostly in solar fields until we realized as impactful as it was in a solar field, we needed to build more understanding of the importance of pollinators in creating habitat. So that was when we started creating habitat in every town in Vermont. That's our goal. And so we're working on a space in Underhill at the Underhill Central School. And I just wanted to present what we're up to and why we're up to it. And I think when I look at your commission website, I think I don't really have to explain to you why any of that, why it's important. But this is something where we're 4 years, in January it'll be 4 years into the UN decade of habitat restoration. And you don't have a lot of habitat restoration you can point to because we have so many other problems on our planet right now. But we're trying to create the sort of constituency and understanding of pollinators, and that includes a lot of education. So at the Underhill Central School, we've already tilled the site, which will be created as a diverse planting of pollinator-friendly plants that are not just native plants, but native in a strategic way. So just as you would plant milkweed to support monarchs, there are 55 native species in Vermont of bees that are defined by the Vermont Center for Eco Studies as at risk. And so we're strategically planting the Lismacia ciliata to support the resin bees and the when it's wet enough, some of the pickerelweed to support the Nephoria. All the species that are at risk, we're trying to support. So there's the generalist pollinators, and then there's the specialists, and we're trying to work across a spectrum of species to support them. And then with it comes educational signage and curriculum that we bring into the schools and also to any community organizations that want to learn more about it. And that's the sum total of the task.
That's super.
That is exciting.
Yes, I didn't know that this was going on.
We haven't been up there. Most of our areas have been in the northern part of the state. We haven't really gotten to the southern part of the state, but because it involves moving equipment around to get the sites established, that's fine with us that they're all in one area. But the Underhill Central will be the 12th school where we've had a habitat created. The idea is we have all these acres that we're just mowing year after year, season after season, and it's not at zero carbon costs. It really is that opportunity space to create diverse habitat. And so that's the essence of the task, is taking up a monoculture that we've established because it's handsome to have a monoculture of lawn, but replace it with maybe a mowed path through a more diverse habitat that allows people to interact with it and understand what's there. And then we try and measure the impact in terms of species. We have a dozen species that we've seen now in numbers that haven't been observed, except for a historical record, haven't been observed in decades, that we see now present and observable on numbers of occasions. So that's the goal, is to restore species.
I have a question, and who is the contact at the school, and are you sort of bringing the children that attend the central school along, sort of understanding the project and the hope?
So that's one of the opportunities in the task, is just to let them understand what it is to try and create habitat, because this is one of those things. To address climate change, we have to get energy infrastructure, transportation infrastructure, but all of us can address biodiversity loss with a shovel and a plant or some seed. And so I think it's one of those where we want to demystify the process. Though I say it's like baking bread. There's nothing to it. You just have to do exactly the right thing at the right time. But if you've ever thrown down wildflower seeds, it's not always successful. But that there's an approach to this that can be duplicated in people's backyards is absolutely the point of this. Mm-hmm. And so in the last decade, we created habitat in Vermont, equivalent to every household, doing a 12 by 12 pollinator garden. And we worked with hundreds of households also to do that. But most of the times the householders were just helping with advice, seed sourcing, plant sourcing, and that kind of thing, and approaches how to do it.
So I'd love it if you could send a short blurb about what you have done and what Be the Change is doing throughout the state, and we could put it on the webpage as well as via the Conservation Commission, if that worked. Put a front porch forum bit out for people in general. That would, so it's E Chapek, CHAPEK,
Okay.
number 4 at gmail.com.
Enough for your time. Thank you, folks.
Okay, you're welcome. Do you want to read back Betsy's email? Make sure you have it.
Yes, please.
ECHAPEK number 4 at gmail.com.
Okay, I'll send something.
Great.
Thank you, folks.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Would you mind handing me that?
Mm,
Here.
thank you. That was a good solution.
Yes. You ready?
Yeah, do you still want me to do the small talk?
Yes.
All right, it'll be short. Karen, would you mind giving me the screen sharing access? I just put a couple pictures that we might as well show.
Come on.
So this is a project that I do in my classroom. So, I don't get paid for it or anything, although I am going to advertise for Trout Unlimited and Trout in the Classroom a little bit. So, let's see. Awesome. Okay. All right. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
All right, cool. So this is just my trout tank setup, and I know that there's someone at the middle school that also does this same program. So basically, it's through Trout Unlimited, and they kind of help set up some of these things with the goal of just spreading education about like water systems and also ecosystems and riparian areas and also trout. And fishing too, kind of like the recreation aspect of all of it and how it all kind of connects together. So we have a 50-gallon tank, and then from the hatchery in January, we get 100 trout eggs that look like this. And then the students basically just test the chemistry of the water and water quality just to make sure it's perfect, pristine conditions and learn a little bit about water quality and why it's good and important to have great water quality in Vermont rivers. And then we watch them hatch and grow over time and then eventually get big enough to release into the Mills River. And it's all, coordinated through Vermont Fish and Wildlife, and they approve us to release them out into the wild and all of that. So just a fun project and something that folks could potentially volunteer for if they were interested in, exploring that option a little bit.
Very
Yeah,
exciting.
that is exciting.
Yeah.
I actually remember doing that at Browns River when I was at Browns River. So yeah, it's
Nice.
really cool.
It is. It's a cool program, and especially at Browns River, it's awesome because the river's right there. So it kind of, you just go out into the backyard and release them. So
And when do you release them?
we'll keep them all the way up until like the last week of May or first week of June. So they don't get that big, maybe 2.5 inches or so in the tank, and then we'll go on a field trip and release them. Or one year I didn't do a field trip. I did like an optional after school event at the farmers market and just met some kids like and their families behind the farmers market and released the trout. So it's kind of a dual event because they got to go to the farmer's market and get some snacks and then
Yes,
then they're
yes.
able to come too.
Fun.
Yeah. Yeah, so we've had a lot of fun with it.
Lori, how long is that total process from egg to release?
So, just probably about 5 months. We get them right after we get back from break in January. And then, so maybe a little bit shorter than that, but they hatch right away. We'll get them and they'll be an egg for just about a week. And then and it's also kind of cool because you can change how quickly they hatch based on the temperature. And we'll kind of simulate like, okay, we're going to say it's a little bit warmer in our water so that they hatch quicker so that we can grow them quicker. But yeah.
Awesome.
So,
Thank you.
Yeah, Lori.
Thank you. That's
Thank
fun.
you.
Nice little project.
Yeah. Thanks so much.
Thank you. So next on the agenda is around the room.
Okay. And I just want to say that I told Karen I would time, but I don't think I really need to time. But the point is really not to discuss. It's just to give a tidbit, to share a tidbit for 1 or 2 minutes, and then just go on to the next person. That was the intention behind it. So I have one.
Good.
All right. This is the Vermont River Conservancy on Act 121, which is the Flood Safety Act. I've done a quick summary on it. That was passed this year in the legislature. And the point is to increase Vermont's resiliency in the face of climate change flooding. So it provides state-regulated protections to river corridors rather than leaving it to the municipalities to do it because a watershed connects many municipalities. So the state can then take over the regulations, and here are some examples of protecting river corridors. Is preventing development in something called meander pathways in floodplains, to strategically remove derelict dams, or to increase floodwater storage via protected or restored floodplains and wetlands along rivers to mitigate flooding from climate change events. So there is a thought about flood safe development, which would be allowed within river corridors and village centers. It's just that outside of the downtowns, there would be a protection to those river corridors. And so that would involve then less flooding and erosion downhill within the town centers because we have so many problems in Vermont with our town centers being located on rivers. So then the Vermont rivers would be returned to a more natural condition, which is better for water quality and biodiversity and recreation. Studies show that millions of dollars in savings happen when roads, homes, and businesses stay intact and dry after rainstorms as a result of floodplains being left intact or restored. And so just a little fact about Vermont. Restored floodplains are now functioning in places like Bennington, Middlebury, and Northfield. The recent Whetstone floodplain restoration in Brattleboro is expected to lower the flood depths in downtown Brattleboro homes and businesses by more than 3 feet. So that is it. And I can send Lori some resources. One is what's Vermont's new Flood Safety Act and the actual link to the Flood Safety Act. So I'll send you those, Lori, to put in the minutes. Okay.
I think we all need alternative reading material of late, and I recently have become quite enamored by Wendell Berry and his work, and I thought what I might like to do is not necessarily read anything tonight, but offer on our webpage different sources for reading that might be of interest that aren't necessarily all fact, but are meditative and inspiring. So if you have any ideas about people, writers, or sources that you might think would be useful, send them my way, and compile a list. And that's kind of what I have to say. Just in the nature of spreading a different word.
And you spell it Barry?
Berry, Berry.
Like the berry.
He's prolific. He's been a prolific writer.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, starting a collection of his.
It's just like sharing something.
Yeah.
Journaling at night is a really peaceful way to conclude your day. It's something that I've started to do, and it's just really nice to put things on paper and then go to sleep. It's a good way not being on your phone or technology.
Great.
I think that's important, not to be on your phone.
Yes. The blue light alone will keep you awake.
Yes,
Karen, do you have anything?
I do. So I've been thinking about the next steps with the question of why are the floods getting worse in the state? And it's, the rain and everything. So I did a little study on the history of beavers because there's a study, and I think I sent it out, I'm going to resend it, about how the wetlands were restored because the beavers moved back in. So, you have this tension for change here, where we have the beavers that want to live. They find a wetland, they want to, live there, flood it, create the wetland, and then you have the landowners that might not want them there. And so historically, the beavers were in Vermont, and Vermont didn't look like this, like Underhill. You can look back and see how Underhill looked after the lumber, the timber cutting, and the sheep basically denuded the hills and everything from trees. And so it turns out that the beavers were heavily trapped in the 1800s. And of course, their pelts are very warm. And they have two layers in their pelts. One they used to make hats, and the other they used to make beaver coats, I guess, which is new. But the beavers were so heavily trapped that they basically disappeared. And now and when that happened, and at the same time, people were settling in Vermont in the valleys. And so they were clearing the land. Beavers were disappearing. And so it opened up a possibility for, if there were storms, there were the wetlands to capture the water to keep it from flooding. Basically, although the storms weren't maybe as bad as they are now, but those natural safety nets weren't there. And so here we are now. The state is doing a complete turnabout and wanting to sort of protect the beavers because of the wonderful job that they do in building the wetlands to hold the water back. And so that's where we are. But again, although, they say that, and then maybe another area in the department will issue permits to say, yes, you can
Right.
shoot the beavers. And then I went to the seasons for hunting, and noticed when you can hunt beavers. And I think that I think it ends, I can't really remember. I just looked at it yesterday. I was going to write it down. I'm so sorry I didn't. But I think the beaver trapping and hunting ends March 1st. So I think it starts maybe in September through March. I don't know. It's a long time. But that's as far as I've got. And maybe the next time we'll give you another chapter about beavers.
Great. Chapter 1. This is chapter 1.
But sort of, yeah. And I'll also send the link about how the beavers restored a certain area.
That's great.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
We're going to put that in the minutes. Thank you. Can it be anything, 1 or 2 minutes of idea?
Anything inspirational like you guys have? No. But I can give a quick update on the Casey's Hill situation. I meant to do a little planting party, as you all know, last time. But I did notice that there was quite a bit of seed under the straw, and it quickly sprung up. And as our new friend Mike from Be the Change mentioned, you can scatter wildflower seed, but it may or may, it doesn't mean it will always come up. And so I know there's a process to making that happen, and I didn't want to fight the grass that had already sprung up. So
It's really taken over.
it's
hasn't it?
completely taken over. So I hit the pause button on that thought with, not wanting to bite off more than I can chew right now. So that's an update on that side of things. And then I also did see at UCS that there's a large section that has been tilled up from their field, and had sort of asked about it at the school and found out that they do plan to start a pollinator garden. So I can find out more about that, and maybe provide another update next time.
Just a question on pollinator gardens. Obviously, are they always field located? I mean, I'm wondering if we could do something with Moore Park to enhance what has been established already, which is sort of overgrown. But I'm just thinking shade, wet, dry, open. Do pollinator gardens can be any type, pretty much, right?
Maybe we should check with Mike.
That's a good idea. And my impression from reading about it and doing a wildflower septic mound is that flowers generally need light. However, I have planted pollinator shrubs at the edge of the woods, and so they are apparently attracted to some pollinators are attracted to them. Of course, birds are attracted to them.
So maybe in a conversation, when I receive information from Mike, I'll just ask him anyway, does that make sense?
But I think it's encouraging that there seem to be quite a number of people interested in pollinators in this area. And if we wanted to, at some point, join that more intentionally, I think there's quite a lot of interest that we could, partner with.
I think there was, this fall, there was a meeting of the pollinators that want to do sort of a pollinator quarter. And I did not attend that. It was,
I attended that.
oh, you did? Oh, you
Yes.
did?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, yes, and I put my name, so I received emails as a result of that, and I could forward that. I may have forgot, maybe I was going to forward that last time and I didn't, but I'll remember to forward that to you.
And speaking of pollinators, a week ago Saturday, the Natural Resources Inventory and Mapping Committee had this foresters come, and one of the first stops was across the street at Moore Park. And one of the Chittenden County forester, had selected a certain area of the park. So if you're looking straight across, it's more on the right at the back to talk about. And so he talked about the elms and the fact that there were so many, there, and they could have Lyme disease. I mean, not Lyme disease.
Dutch elm.
Dutch elm disease. I got ticks on my
Everybody can
mind.
get Lyme disease.
Yeah, and I thought it was really interesting, and he did talk about the bank and how it was rather steep and could easily maybe erode. But so and I think you might remember that when we Conservation Commission had a cleanup day to eliminate a lot of the wood in the back, we also planted disease-resistant elms at that site.
Oh,
And, yes, with one of the ideas, and plus some other shrubs and things, to block the knotweeds that's growing along the bank. But right beside it and in it is the old pollinator garden that we started a long time ago. And it was Mary Pacifices and Pat Lamphere actually helped with that. And the bee balm still grows there. It's hidden now in the weeds, but it is a pollen. And I didn't think to go down and see if there were any monarchs there.
And you were going to show me that pollinator garden at one point, so they still need to
Yeah.
check it out.
Anyway,
So there's also, the town pond area where the orchard is. Maybe there's something that can happen there.
yeah.
That's a good idea.
You've mentioned like multiple different spots in Underhill, Moore Park, the Casey's Hill, and Town Pond. Do you guys ever see all those locations?
No, the town of Underhill, Brad sort of has a management plan for Casey's Hill. Except that it's sort of the cutting, around on the trails. I think the rec committee is in charge of, and we don't oversee the swimming area where that is the rec committee. So we're sort of here at Moore Park, and then Crane Brook.
I don't know if you guys ever saw Moore Park, but that's also a nice spot.
Yeah, it is, and we haven't swung back to do it again. But I remember one Saturday, I think
It was 2 or 3 years ago. It
Yeah.
was a really good effort.
cleaned out all the dead wood that's back
Raised
close
the
to the river.
gravel.
So maybe, is that, that's our purview, so maybe that should go on the 5-year plan?
Yeah.
To
Yes,
to maintain that, to.
yes, we probably should have that there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Was that open to the public, or was it just a committee activity?
Oh, it was open to the public, but it was probably a sort of quick, not a lot of publicity about it.
Okay.
But it was a good, I think we had about 12 or so people with chainsaws and rakes.
Mm.
Really did a bang up job, but it needs it again.
Yeah. And Betsy, did that involve the town, as in like the town dump truck, or, and it was just volunteers and?
Yeah.
No, I think it was, well,
Greg,
Kurt
Johnson? For Johnson?
Johnson's, we used his truck, I think.
Mm.
Or didn't we, or was it, no, it was, and Greg Leach.
Leach.
Yeah, that's Amy.
Amy.
Hollidan's
Yeah.
husband. Yeah, used his truck, and well, he was there with his chainsaw. Kurt was there with his. We had folks from the Jericho Land Trust that live in Underhill.
Oh,
There, Barbie and John
Warrior.
Warrior were there. Lots of people.
Could be involved in the town.
Yeah.
okay. Well, we'll mark that down, and speaking of which, Karen, we don't have the ability to print out on the printer, right? We can't
I
do
don't
that.
have. I can do a hard copy and print through there, but I don't.
Can't. And that computer doesn't do it, that computer's not hooked up to it by any chance. If you tried to do a print from somewhere, would that do
I
it?
don't know.
Like opening up a PDF or something, or?
It's just a timer. Cameras.
Oh, I mean,
Notes.
if you went to like File Explorer there, would you, on your bottom screen, with the file folder to the right of that? Is there anything in there if you tried to print something?
I'll just try. How about that?
Yeah, just try and print something. Could you open that up and maybe just print page 1 or something? Maybe it doesn't allow you to.
No. is currently disabled.
Okay. All right.
Okay, well, wait a minute. So we'll do this, just do Underhill draft. How about, see if we can print this? No,
Okay.
apparently not.
All right. Well, all right. I think I don't need that, Betsy. Unfortunately, left one at home. It showed up the screen. Okay, so
Okay, so how do I get it back here?
down at the bottom, if you go to the G, or just go to that G icon at the very bottom, is your GoToMeeting.
I've been living in the world of Zoom, because we had our
Oh,
annual meeting.
oh,
So should we move on?
Yes, oh, I have, you know what I do have? I do have hard copies of this.
that's perfect.
I think it, yeah,
Well, there was an updated one, though I had yellow on it. Did it just not come out because it wasn't in the color, or is it not the updated one?
this is one that says 10:30 on it.
10/30/24 Rev 3?
Yeah.
Yeah? Oh, if you don't mind, I'll make us all copies. Thank you.
It's just this though that I have.
That's perfect. Thank you. Yes, beautiful.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, that's minutes. Yeah, that's the only thing I printed off with my printer. Good. Yes. Oh, what did I do with the budget? Did I send that to you all?
There you go. There's one for people who don't see so well. like
Oh,
me.
thank you, that's me.
You get to be an old person.
Who's this?
Here,
Oh, 5-year plan.
it's a 5-year plan, yes. Oh, and actually, we're sort of at that point right now.
Well, if we have,
We haven't approved, yeah.
right, sorry.
Well, if we can go to the, I thought our intention was perhaps to go to the minutes and use those line items to guide us.
Right.
Right.
So the first one is the CDCD sign-in, which was Logan.
Yep.
Do you need the meeting minutes? No.
Do you have some? Do you want them?
Meeting minutes? No, I don't know what that is. That's just for you guys.
Well, we send it out in the email. It's I've written them.
I mean, you might as well send it to me. I'll look at it.
I mean, if you want one to follow along with what we're gonna do tonight, that's just.
No, I don't even want to follow along right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just kind of observing and listening to see what you guys do here.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
It's pretty interesting.
Okay, so we have the signage and that was discussed and let's see, Betsy reviewed Logan's proposal.
But it was, an old one.
Yeah, this is just a rough draft.
Yeah.
Maybe if you could
It's
send,
changed
yeah,
dramatically, I think.
yes, well, it has,
It's much more detailed now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can email you both
Yeah.
a
Great.
copy of the newest one
good.
when I get home. I'll put it in my notes.
And I invited you to the November meeting.
December.
Oh, no, I mean, I will do that,
Yeah.
but here we're looking at our minutes to make
Oh,
sure that
okay.
we've done that. The logo is the next thing, but
That's
that's sort of out of order with what we're doing. Oh, so, all right.
It was what was discussed next at the last meeting.
Mhm.
Do you want to, talk about where we're at, Betsy, with that?
I'm a little discombobulated. We have, the final colors and adjustment am I on the right track here?
Yep, we decided on the
And
final
size.
colors.
Logos. I think,
And we're using it on the meeting minutes now.
right,
Yeah, I want to talk about that.
Oh, you don't want it on the meeting minutes?
Well, we can talk about
Okay.
it. Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
Keep going, Jess.
And we decided on an email signature, right?
right,
That I'll be creating for everybody and hoping that they can put it in their Gmail if people use Gmail.
Gmail. Okay, and
What else do we do?
well, we have, I know that we want to, decide on a partial logo for Instagram, Facebook, kiosk signage and posters, right?
Right,
And,
we have to work on that.
mhm. And then we were, well, that's different. The signage for the CBCD. But, it seems like just, I don't know if you've seen it, but it's, pretty simple and pretty reasonable. And, it's nice to have something to sort of identify ourselves with, I think.
And part of the logo experience too is the font used. So Betsy selected a font. So the idea would be to try and switch the meeting minutes, the agenda and the like to using that font.
And what is the font?
Well,
It's-
that's all going in the, in a style guide. It's Open Sans. And that's why we made a template for the meeting minutes and a template for the agenda with the correct font, with the new font.
I have a sample of that if you want to see it.
Is this the font on this?
Yeah. That's the font. Okay, that's about it. We're going to set up another date to work on the next step.
Yep, which is, I think I sent you some dates, didn't I?
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't get back to you.
Okay.
Okay. So now are folks ready to go to the 5-year plan?
Or the natural resources report was the next one on the list.
Oh, we did that. All right. Yes, this is tedious, actually. All right, so the natural resources report was, what am I supposed to do here? Lori made the poster for when I
Yeah,
talked
this-
about doing the walking with the forester, that was in regard to this.
That's great.
Yeah, and we also, Arrowwood came and presented their report on October 29th. And all the seats were taken upstairs. So there are probably maybe 40 to 45 people.
I think there were over 50.
50? Could have been.
Yeah.
Could have been over 50. Quite a few. It was filled. Lots of goodies to eat as well. And the folks from Arrowwood actually went through the data. And thereafter, that was videoed, so it's Mount Mansfield TV taped it. And you can get a link to that and watch it on TV. Watch it on TV, watch it on your computer. And the other thing is that the town, if someone wants to get the full report from Arrowwood, the town will either email it to them or print it off and you can come in and pick it up. So that, and maybe,
And the next step is Jens is going to be putting together their data, right, Karen?
I think he's going to be, well, we have telephone. We're going to get an update on that tomorrow.
Right.
And Sandy said something about he was really busy right now, but the plan is for him to put the data together in the Vermont goal of conservation by design to help us start thinking about how to use the data, keeping in mind that the foremost is conserving. So, for example, wetlands, you think about conserving the beavers to maintain the wetlands and, that kind of thing, I think, is the way that's going to go. But it will, the data is the data, and a lot of people have trouble digesting data. I like data, actually, but Jens will humanize it and really talk about how to use it. That's what it is, the practical application and use of the data.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way
that's
to
the
put it. Right.
Yeah.
And we'll find out more tomorrow night at
Yes.
that meeting.
Yes. Okay, Penny, then now we're down to 5-year plan.
5-year plan, right. So last month, we hadn't done any work on it. You passed out the Underhill Climate Action Plan and said that there were Conservation Commission action items, and we needed to respond to the Planning Commission about our action items. So Lori and I took those action items and did the best we could to, well, Lori, do you want to talk to what we did? By any chance?
Sure, I can. So thinking about the climate change one specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we went through and figured out which kind of location they already fit or which category they kind of already fit in. And a lot of it seemed to come out to, like, I would say 2 main takeaways, and correct me if I'm wrong, Penny, as I look for all of the documents, but it seemed like forest blocks was kind of like one big major theme. And also, again, it seemed like education and almost like marketing educational events was kind of the other main takeaway from these. So on the right hand side there, we kind of color coordinated them to see like where they fit with what we are already doing. And it seemed like most of them are, as long as we keep doing a forest block, related educational event every year type thing. But go for it, Penny.
So I think what Lori is saying is right, that what we did end up doing was adding forests and forest blocks as one of the line items in the 5-year plan, which is this 11 by 17 that I passed out. So we added it sort of toward the end because, as Lori said, a number of the action items in the climate action plan had to do with forests. We also felt like in the climate action plan that some of the line items, and there's a legend on the back with the colors, some of the line items we thought we didn't, I can print that off if you'd like it.
Sure, yes. I didn't, I thought that, I didn't print that. I thought I printed it off, but I didn't.
Let me print this off really quickly.
Yeah, so I think I had sent that out in an email to everybody, but I think what happened was my printer ran out of paper and I didn't think to push reprint again. So I just, once I've filled in the paper, it doesn't necessarily go back to its. Yeah.
Okay.
So this, piece, the 5-year plan project preliminary that you just gave us is the most recent.
Yes.
It is, and Lori and I really had to just grab the tiger by the tail and narrow down what was probably more like 50 different projects to what we thought people, and it was a combination of what people expressed here as their, when we were doing the brainstorming. And then Lori and I just made an executive decision, and by the way, we kept all of our background documents. So in case you ever want to know why we made an executive decision in this way, but we did to sort of add some projects because we found that most of the projects that the Conservation Commission planned to do or brainstorm on had to do with educating the public.
Yes.
But the town plan and basically the town plan wanted us to do more than that. They wanted us to be involved in policy and initiatives and promotion and outreach, data gathering. So we decided to select 1 or 2 things from each of those categories that we weren't addressing with our brainstorming and say, okay, this sounds like something maybe we could do as a Conservation Commission. And then Karen brought us this climate action plan, and we thought, oh, okay, now are we doing any of these? And if not, maybe we can add some. And so Lori identified that all the ones in yellow basically have to do with this last that I just handed out, basically have to do with forest blocks. So let's add forest blocks to the 5-year plan. And then some of the others that we've color coded seems that, so the yellow now are in our 5-year plan. The pink are really actions that we feel like they would be initiated by another party. And that we would be either secondary or not involved at all, like regulate clearing associated with development. Like that isn't something we would do, that's something the Planning Commission would do. If they want to ask our opinion, and we could give them our opinion or our expertise. So that's what the pink is. The green is, we would need to understand these 2 better. And why are they assigned to the Conservation Commission? So one is to update the town open land contracts. I don't actually even know what those are, Karen, So
it's, if you know what current use, or the other name is use value.
Yeah.
So Underhill has its own as well. And with Underhills, it isn't a 30-acre lot, it's 10.
Okay.
And if you have 10, I think you can have an application and put it into the town. And you get the same type of reduced taxes on it.
Okay,
I'm not sure. I don't really know about that.
so that requires a little bit more research because it might not only what the town open land contract is, but how we would update it, like how the Conservation Commission would update a contract, I don't know. And the other one that Lori and I were a bit stumped by, and so we have to do some more research, is on the next page. It's promote regenerative agricultural practices. So I'm not even quite certain. It only gives us the opportunity to do that and to partner with UVM Extension. So that requires a little more research. And then the last one is the orange. And Lori and I think there's one of these that really appears to be regional in scope, to investigate green burial options in Underhill. That's green burial options, that's a big effort. They've done it, I think, in southern Vermont and maybe central Vermont. I'm very interested in it. But it was a big group of people over a region bringing together green burial. I think it's bigger than Underhill. So,
It is too.
Definitely.
so
And for me, I don't know what role we really play with, you know. I mean, we don't have land.
right.
I think
So
it's
we
in the,
can offer-
with the assistance, for the assistance of finding land. If that makes any sense, that we would act as a source for finding land for burial, green burial.
Well, I think that it would take, though, as a group of people dedicating themselves to wanting and taking it from there, to ushering it
Yeah.
through there.
Right.
If we could even encourage people, but that's certainly something we could keep our ears out for people who might be interested in donating land. But I think there are 2 or maybe 3 now in Vermont.
There are.
And I think that
I
maybe,
visited one and it's amazing,
I
but
bet.
their process has been unbelievable. It's a couple who,
Where is it?
it's, Royalton,
Oh, in Rockton.
and it's 53 acres or something.
Oh, really?
So I had this idea that maybe, Jens talked with us about this a long time ago, that maybe we have like adjunct members or experts who, if they have, and I know Essie for a long time had an interest in this, that if they want to take the lead, if we want to, or jumping worms, same sort of thing, if somebody else wants to take the lead and we want to add manpower, or here's another option too, Logan very generously offered us the funds that would be left, if there are any funds left. We could think about our fundraising, his fundraising, or our fundraising of giving money to the pollinator effort, giving manpower to the pollinator effort, giving marketing to the pollinator effort. Those are, or the green burial effort. So I was thinking that those are possibilities that we can always pursue as part of our action plan, if it's really not something we have the manpower for. We could consider that, right?
That would be a form of support.
Form of support,
Yeah.
different forms of support. So then the last, so this was, Karen, this is what Lori and I came up with for you to give to the Planning Commission. The only other 2 places that I can see that we could possibly give input is the green, once we research it more. But other than that, this is our reaction to it. Maybe you could look over and see if you think that that needs to be edited or adjusted.
No, I think this makes sense. I'd studied it. I
Okay,
just didn't remember to print it off, obviously. But I sent it out to everybody.
Yeah.
No, I think it makes sense because what we do readily is a lot of it has to do with education. And
yeah,
that's something that we can, and it's already in our
it
5-year
is.
plan. So I think that works and it makes sense. And
I think Jens was trying to challenge us last year to do more than, do different avenues than education.
yes, he was.
So the education we know how to do, I think.
Yes,
Other
we do
people
it.
know how to do it.
The,
So,
the collaboration, well, that's in ours. It does not necessarily turn up on the action plan. But for example, the open land, collaborate with groups to conserve and manage open land. That's something that is near and dear to my heart.
Yeah.
For sure.
oh, good, that's important, that's on there.
Yeah.
So that is, let's see, we updated the plan per meeting that Gloria and I had. We reviewed the climate action plan and it passed it back to Karen. And Karen will decide how to respond to the planning commission with this.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Meet with them.
So the next step on the 5-year plan, if I may ask or say, that I combined this document here, this front page, which now we have to add on to it the Moore Park maintaining. So maybe that goes up with, Lori, do you think that would go up with Crane Brook Conservation District? Could we put Moore Park in with that? Is that part of the Crane Brook or no?
No,
But maybe
but
we could
it's,
put and Moore Park.
yeah, lands that we're responsible for overseeing. And
yeah.
Okay, so
So we
that's
could
a
add
good way to do it.
So that's number 2.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so then the next step is I combine this front sheet with a page for every one of these projects. And some of these projects are more extensive than others because one project is Green Up Day, but then number 4 project is education programs and materials on all sorts of wildlife, bird outings, trackings, ticks, whatever. So it may need more than one page, but the next idea is to come up with ideas for action items or considerations, even just making it up, just so that we can think through it. And then Karen is going to help us create this crosswalk of how long it will take for these projects and when we would start the project so that we can bring this to our meetings and then say, oh, we're in the January meeting, we need to be thinking about looking at Green Up Day activities and something like that.
Something like that.
So that's the step after this next step of just giving us some ideas. If everyone could just write down ideas for these projects of what they include. In the Google Doc, you can alter it, edit it. I've saved a copy so we can go back to the original if you need to. So feel free.
That's a smart thing to do.
Yeah. So I think we're done with that. Yeah.
Yes, this has been a tremendous amount of work.
Yes.
So thank you, Laurie, and
Well, we tried. We made a lot of assumptions.
yes, yeah, no, I mean,
We had to do something, right?
no, it's very logical, it makes sense.
Good.
And it does create something that we can, because if you look at what we wanted to do, and then you look at, for example, the climate action plan, and how do we, 5 or 6 or 7 of us do all that? But if you really think about it, it fits together in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So-
And I did mark on here, the yellow, which you can't see, is what we currently were doing in 2004, which is just a fraction of these projects. So the idea is to aspire to these projects.
But if we put a timeline in and
Yeah.
it's different
Because
stuff.
it could be over 5 years, right, Karen?
Yeah,
Right.
and the things like Green Up Day, it usually sneaks up on me at like,
Yeah,
oh, it's April, we have to plan something for May.
right.
So this is good, because then we can start talking about it.
Karen, the other thing, that just reminded me, the other thing that I need to add to the 5-year plan, just under one of these probably, is budget, right? That the budget comes up every year, so we need to kind of plan that into the timeline of we have to talk about it.
Yes, what the budget, usually what our plans would be driving the budget.
Yeah.
And so, and it comes up really, really, really early, like
Now,
now
for next July.
for
right?
next July.
Right.
And so, because it was due and we didn't meet
Yeah.
last Monday,
Yeah,
I created the
Very
budget
nice.
looking at
Okay.
this for
yeah,
this time.
yeah,
But ordinarily, we should know by the end of October. You know what? They keep getting earlier and earlier and earlier. It used to have to be done at the end of December. Now it's mid-November.
Kind of rough end.
But we should know by the end of October how much we need to accomplish, let's say, the next steps in some of these action items.
like the crosswalk would
The
help us
crosswalk,
with that,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So that means we need to really start thinking about it maybe in
Yeah.
August to
Mhm.
think through how much money this costs and that costs to be able to have it 2 months later, right?
Yes, yeah,
Okay,
yeah. And a good analogy, which is with the Morgan Horse Group, is we create a calendar. And then we can say, okay, if we're going to have a clinic, we have to have X amount of money to pay the clinician. So then we create the budget based on the calendar.
oh, yeah,
Yeah, so
okay,
it's just this sort of the same thing
Yeah,
here. It's
yeah.
not calendar for us, it's more
Right.
of this different things we're going to work on.
Along topic of budget, what about fundraising?
That's in,
Where's that?
All right.
marketing,
Marketing.
Where?
Number
marketing
3.
3.
Oh, number 3. Oh,
Yeah, good, biggie.
Yes, so
So then the next thing on the, we talked about was, I'd be interested in knowing your responses to this, was a reminder of the Conservation Commission meeting to interested people. So this came up quickly for me this time, and I didn't send out a reminder. I've tried sending out a reminder a week ahead of time, the day of. None of the people on the list have responded yet. When do I stop doing that? Should we say, how many times do I do it and then stop, or do I do it in perpetuity?
We did talk a little bit about that, 2 or 3 times.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And we did get someone this evening, but it wasn't by invitation.
By
it was
invitation,
his input.
and perhaps he saw that on Front Porch Forum. I don't know that I put it on Facebook.
You might have
The
seen it on the
agenda,
web.
Karen, the agenda.
Yeah.
So that also brings to mind to me, just quickly, I wanted to mention, you might have already gone over this, but, the next thing is pollinators at Casey's Hill. So this is sort of related. One of the ways that I thought this gentleman was calling in to ask us to support him financially or with manpower, and he didn't have an ask. He was really just telling us. So in the future, people may call in and have an ask for us. Just saying.
Right. Yes.
I mean, it could even be donating pollinator seeds, which was what we were thinking before.
Okay. So now that we've gone through the old business,
Now the new business becomes old business.
So I-
yes, but we have to approve the minutes right now.
I have a question. You said something about logo, and we'd have to talk about that more later or something, I think you said.
I think that,
I think Karen meant after them. After them.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, how the minutes were set up. We were trying this the way that I was proposing, just because this is my past way of doing things, is the new business from last month is now considered old business. So basically what I'm trying to do is have us read through the minutes as we go. And if anything's wrong, we correct it. And we talk about each item. And then at the end of the minutes, reading through the minutes, we then say, okay, can we approve these minutes? Because the glaring errors should show up as we're reading through them. So the new business starting for this month hasn't occurred yet. This new
Right.
business from last month is now
Got
old
it.
business.
And so we're at the point of using this well sorted out template or whatever to now approve the minutes from last month.
Yeah, except we've got just 2 more things I just wanted to mention. So we've got the pollinator.
wait, just a second though,
Yeah.
because of this format with lends itself very nicely to projects, what Penny's talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and if that doesn't sit well with people, we could always have our regular minutes, but for our projects, we'd still do it like this because we need to.
Why do both?
Yeah,
Why don't we just
okay,
use the efficient?
well, we're having a conversation.
Oh.
So what now, Karen? Did you want 2 kinds of minutes? Is
No,
that
no,
what
I
you
was
said?
just saying if people were uncomfortable
Oh,
with
this
This
type of format
yes,
for minutes.
yes.
Oh, are people uncomfortable? Can we be honest? My feelings won't be hurt.
No.
Are you uncomfortable,
No.
Karen, with this?
No.
Okay. Lori, are you uncomfortable?
No, I'm giving it a go right now on the current ones I'm typing, and it seems like it's going pretty well. I am keeping it pretty like shorthand, which I think is
that's
fine
great.
since we have a recording, right?
This is probably too long, but
Yeah.
I think if they just have an update and if we're done, then we can, we're done. We can close them.
Great.
But I know that we already talked about pollinators, but it's the next thing on the minutes. Could I just ask a question about pollinators?
Yeah.
Is there, so this is Trinity suggested a pop-up pollinator. And Betsy was gonna talk to Brad about it. It was all too late. It happened too late and too fast. And Trinity was gonna plan a work party. Is there any reason that Trinity couldn't, that someone in the town couldn't talk, Russ maybe, alert Trinity when some banks are going to be created
Yes. such a
before
great idea.
they get, what is it's a matting. It's a matting that's put on it with the straw, and the grass seed is already in the matting.
It's already in
that
there.
pre-seeded
Blue
matting?
stuff, right?
Well, no, this wasn't even colored, but I did go over the day that you were at
Right.
Casey's Hill, and I examined
Yes.
just to see, because I had just, you were talking about getting seed donations. I called American Meadows
Oh,
in South Burlington to see if we could get a seed donation, and they said yes, just fill out the form. And I said, okay, so what's the process? And they said there can't be anything on the soil,
right.
and they said you just rake the soil, apply the seed, and then tamp it down, and there can't be any covering. So I went over to go check, and it had already been covered,
Yeah.
and there was already seed in it. And like there's this grass removal process you have to go through before you even plant the wildflower seeds, or it won't be successful.
Right.
It was too
So it's
late.
working, yeah. And it
So
may,
that's a good thought.
but it may be that Russ would end up saying, or that Brad and Russ would end up saying, that we have to put, that's an erosion control mat that's all seeded too, that we have to put this matting on a certain slope because it would erode if it just had seeds on it and it would rain. So more flat areas, maybe they would agree to if there were more flat areas. I don't know, but I wonder if it's worth a discussion, at least to have.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
That's a wonderful
Yeah.
idea.
So how would we move that forward? Who would be responsible and who would talk to whom about that, Karen, do you think?
Well, I think that Russ, we talked to Russ.
So could Trinity talk to him, or is that?
Yeah.
You know, Russ just walked through here, by the way.
Oh,
I'm
was
not
that
just now, but
Russ?
this morning. Yeah, that's Russ.
Earlier.
Yeah, he said he
Okay.
came to see me. He was joking.
What, he was at the printer?
Yeah,
Oh,
That's
okay.
Russ.
All I saw was his back.
Yeah.
So I didn't know who was
I
at the
think they
printer.
must be
You
having
can reach
another
him at the
meeting
town
upstairs.
garage.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Which is
And he emails
phone
and
number
everything.
and
Yeah.
on the website.
Okay, so
Or
Russ, Town Garage,
yeah, it's
Right.
Russ Clark, yeah.
Yeah.
and so I just reach out to him and say, hey, we talked about this at the
Yeah.
Conservation Commission. Is there anything we can do to collaborate on
Right.
these embankments?
And he might say no, or he might say below a certain slope, yes, that would be great, or whatever.
Yeah, okay.
And his email, I think, is on the town website.
Okay,
Mhm.
that's great. Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Penny.
Good.
Okay. Let's see what's on. Next one.
Next is
Oh, presentation on beavers. Karen gave us her own presentation on beavers today. It was very good. It was sort of a summary of what was said, wasn't it?
No,
No way.
she didn't go into the history at all.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
That's,
She didn't.
yeah, or anything. But yes, so we decided a new date for the Conservation Commission meeting. And we decided about carpool, well, we didn't carpool to the beaver presentation. Well, yes, I did bring somebody, but not
I think
from
you're
this
okay.
group. Yeah, and that was, it was a presentation in Jericho, and
It's enjoyable and interesting,
Well,
except that the technology was way off.
yeah. It was, yeah, she said a lot, talked about a lot of different, not a lot, but several different wetlands. She didn't really talk about them, but just looked at how they were constructed and, what else? I mean, they're wetlands and,
Well, she talked about Brewster Uplands, and it
Mhm.
inspired me to go to visit them, which I
quite
did.
something.
It's a beautiful place up there, yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it is beautiful. That's true. She likes that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
And then the Brook clock, Betsy, did you?
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Okay, that now is the end
Yes.
of the meeting minutes, so we could approve them if we agree with them, right?
So is there a motion to approve the minutes?
I second.
Betsy seconds it. We've already had the discussion, which sort
Yeah.
of gets it out of order, but that's okay. All in favor of any other discussion? No? Okay. All in favor of approving the minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. I think the ayes have it unanimous.
Nice, have it.
So the minutes are approved. And then the last thing on the agenda. Okay, so is the budget. And I sent you all an Excel spreadsheet with how I itemized it, just going, it was in your email.
Yeah.
And
I've got it here.
so the bottom line is $3,325. And it's not all educational programs, I can barely.
Karen, has this been submitted? Or,
Yes,
okay,
it's already been submitted.
okay.
Why?
Can I bring up things for maybe next year for us to just think about?
Like,
Like, I noticed on a lot, Betsy has had a problem with documents getting wet on the board, and we're going to put plexiglass on it now. But I've even noticed that signs with plexiglass have at least a minimal roofette on the top, if not a roof, just even to keep the water from getting down into the. So maybe that's something that we could have built next year and put some money toward that for that.
well, we do,
Yeah.
we have $1,000 and some of it, if we wanted to do Irish Settlement kiosk, we could just take some of that $1,000 to do the roof over ours,
Yeah.
over the one at the crane, next to the road. So this is,
I'd love to imagine a
Yeah.
new design for over the current kiosk and get rid of the sign above it and do something else.
If we add a roofette, it's all, I like that word.
I like it too.
It's already quite dark at that
Yeah.
spot.
Mm.
Adding a roof, although I think it's along the right lines, I think it will be very difficult possibly to read some of the,
Have you seen the roofette out here
no.
by any chance?
Well, I mean,
It
yes,
is,
but
it is, it's this big.
really,
It's just a little
Tiny.
thing that keeps the water from
Dripping
draining
down
down.
into the sea.
It's just like a little, it's sort of like a
Oh, I
little drip
imagined
edge.
it
Yeah, we're
large.
not the one out here, but many of
Yes.
them have that.
Okay.
Let me just,
It could even be that corrugated
Yeah.
plexiglass.
it's
That's
clear.
clear.
That's a great
Right.
idea.
Yeah, that's
Right.
right. It's
That
clear.
doesn't-
That
Yeah.
would be a way to do it.
Yeah.
Maybe we can talk about it in future meetings.
Yeah.
And even we have a great, in our town, a great cabinetry detailer by the name of Tom Moore. And we could maybe get Tom to even do a design for it. Maybe the next Eagle Scout could do a roofette for
I told them about Cranebook, and there's always some more stuff that they could do up there. So
Hmm.
maybe someone else from our troop will
Mhm.
take an interest in
it.
it.
Yeah.
Or
Okay.
even adding like a solar,
Well,
Like
it's in the
it's-
woods. so I
it's a
don't
little
think you'd be able
shady,
to-
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing was, we talked about cameras, so maybe this is all,
Yes, I
Yeah.
put in for a game camera. I didn't know how much it cost. I figured it was around $200. And so that's there in the budget too, because I'm not getting anywhere.
Right.
Because it wasn't, we have money that we hadn't spent, but
Yeah.
because it wasn't budgeted, I'm not really getting anywhere.
Yeah,
So,
good.
yeah.
I also wondered, just food for thought for the next budget, is the plant swap. If we're thinking about doing a plant swap, this may be equipment, and Karen, I don't know what money can come from a budget versus what money we have to fundraise for. I don't know the difference between the two. But like the plant swap would need to do it right and do it well, like some 5-gallon buckets, some paint straining mesh, some containers that we'd have to use for water and jumping worms and like, so it might be you know, I don't know, $7,500 worth of, or $50 worth of something. So that we need to think through at some point. And I also thought about when we went on this forest walk, they had 2 publications, and one was called Forests and Carbon, something like
Yes.
that. And Lori and I thought that the climate action plan was really focusing on that and wanted us to focus on it. And these publications this one was from UVM. It was really a nice publication. I looked through it. It was like a thick pamphlet,
Yeah.
like maybe 20 pages or something. And I asked him whether we could buy those or not. And he said yes, in hard copy, because you can get them PDF. And he said yes. And I wondered, for instance, if we take on some educational efforts like that, if we can give a landowner that we go to see one of those, as opposed to having to make a brochure ourselves or getting a PDF off, you know, from online. So maybe that might cost $5 each or something.
And that if we printed it ourselves, or
Yeah, it would be a PDF, you know, it's something that's printed by a printer that's, you know, folded and looks like a book. Is a little bit more impressive than an 11 by 17, I mean, you know.
well, you can do that. I think you can print on this like that. Or we can have it printed at like repro.
Could,
Or
or
something
these
like
might not cost anything, or they might be minimal, or they might be
Yeah.
free, so it's
So-
something to check into.
Well, I think that that's absorbed under, we have a lot of educational
Okay.
programs, so, you know, it could be one of many, but here it is. We have carbon sequestration right there,
Yeah,
$300.
that's how much they cost?
No,
Well,
but
oh,
they're
here,
$300.
Oh, you mean underneath you've got it? Carbon
Yes,
sequestration.
yes. So those are some of the things we could use $300 for.
Great. Oh, yes, you do.
Yes, of
$5.
course.
All right,
Okay.
thank you.
So the next year, we'll start planning the budget in October based on our.
Or earlier, right? Because we might have to have it the next month, so we need to be thinking about acquiring costs in August or September.
September, maybe.
September?
Yeah, maybe September, but yeah. Here. Okay, I think. There's any other public comment?
No,
No?
except it's,
Excuse me, go ahead.
it's very cool to see how functional and prepared you guys are. It's it's more organized and a lot more work than it seems.
It's a lot of work to organize, isn't it? You who have known that you've had to do this in a very quick
Yeah.
amount of time, right?
Yeah, it's a lot. It takes a lot. You guys have very prepared. It's a lot of
Well,
information.
it's been a process that a few people have really dived into and worked hard at it.
Logan, what we're hoping is that when people look at the website for the Conservation Commission or talk to us or come to a meeting, that we eventually will have our projects on something like this that shows, that we can hand out, and they show what we're doing next and when. And if you're interested in a project, you can plug in at that time or whatever. So that's our great hope, is to be able to do that.
I think another comment is once the plexiglass covers up and you guys are putting new signage up,
Yeah,
is maybe have a URL, like the things that you just scan with your phone and then it brings you right to your link.
Yes.
exactly. And you know what else I saw the other day at this Uplands, Brewster Uplands, is they had they identified, say, birch trees that have their roots. You know, we have that famous one up at Crane Brook that the roots go over and that's
The rock.
The rock.
Yes.
You know, the
Oh,
roots
when you're
go
first
over.
walking up.
Yeah. And
It's so
that's
cool.
something that birch trees do, right? And I can't remember what
Certain
it's
species
called.
do,
Yeah,
yeah.
certain species. And they had a sign about, you know, did you know birch trees do this? And then they had a picture of, say, for instance, the birch tree with the rock. And then they have this QR code that says, if you want to know more about these birch trees or what birch trees can do, and then you can do like the QR code, except we don't know how to do. Lori probably knows how to do.
How
Maybe
I don't
Trina.
even know how to do that.
But
I don't know how to do that.
So probably can find it on YouTube.
yeah, probably.
Yeah. I just thought that'd be cool.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So the budget's already been sent in,
It has.
and I wonder, I'm just wondering, we talked about a good way to show our educational material at like Green Up Day with sleeves or holders and things like
Yes,
that.
I meant to bring one. Actually, it's like, you know, sign holders that Staple has, they're plastic. You can put them, screw them to the wall and you put a little sign in there. Those actually work. I have a couple. They've worked really well to put down in windy spots with what is underneath it. So if you have something about Dutch elm disease, you put it on the Dutch elm disease pile, you know, and then it's heavy and it rests there.
Mhm.
And that's worked really well. That's one thing that I'd like to see is that we get some of those, a few of those.
So maybe that can go under, I'm just thinking, there isn't exactly in it, isn't anyone's fault. There isn't a place where that's kind of hardware stuff is put in for the budget, but maybe it comes in with
Well, if we know what,
brochures and stuff like that.
and if we know what it is, some of those things, I think just the town of Underhill will order for us.
And
Supplies, yes.
and one of those things that Brad actually said
Yes.
he'd order is one of those A-frame sign holders
Super.
at 24 by 36 that we could,
He did say that?
he said that a year or two ago.
So we
And
just have to,
we just have
Oh.
to get it. We just have to have him get it.
yeah,
Okay, Brad.
And it was heavy, and that was, we talked about it, Karen and I think, we talked about it when we were there a couple years ago, and the wind was so stiff, it was just, everything was flying away, you
Yeah.
know? So, yeah, I think we can do that.
Is that
Okay.
something we can select and say, this is the exact thing?
Yeah, I actually
And-
have, I researched a few of them, and so I have a printout that I can bring with us the next time, I'll do that. So I'll bring that so we can be thinking ahead.
yeah.
For the spring, I will bring the A-frame for marketing, so marketing A-frame. Write that down.
So we have to decide who's gonna do the small talk, right, for next
Yeah.
month?
My great hope is that I could make a list, or we could keep a list online, and people could write in, and, because I think it'd be great if we got enough of them, that it might even be, time, specific,
Mhm.
you know, so maybe like, monarchs when they're supposed to be, you know, when we need to pay attention to that, or jumping worms in the spring, or plant swaps. I'd like to do something on plant swaps that are jumping worm free, and that'd probably be better in, what, like April than in December.
Or maybe earlier, like March,
I
because
mean, right,
we'll go, oh, this is a good idea.
yeah,
And then
right. and
if we
have
wait
time to-
till April, then it's too late to order.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So our crosswalk is gonna, help us with.
Our crosswalk will help us with that,
Okay.
and I'll make out a chart, but we do have next month's to talk about.
Yeah. So
That's a 5 to 10 minute small talk.
I might
at the
wanna
beginning
do
of the
it.
meeting.
do one on beavers, a bigger one with pictures and, how do I do that? Oh, I could share myself.
Yeah, you can share yourself, yeah.
Yes, I could
Yeah.
share myself. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think next month that you'd like to do that? Do you have time for next month to do that, do you think?
I think so.
Well, I mean, it's Christmas and Thanksgiving and
Oh,
all
maybe I
that, you
don't.
know.
And
No.
we're already partway, pretty
Yeah.
far through.
You're true. That's true. Someone else want to do a small talk? We have to sort of wrap up the meeting soon because now the cat dinner is definitely getting.
Okay, yes,
I'm sorry,
you know what, if no one else wants to do one, I have one lined up. I just took a webinar on blue bin recycling, which is a conservation sort of thing, and learned the most amazing things, and I thought I had it all down. So I
Yeah.
could do a small talk on blue bin recycling.
That'd be nice.
Okay.
That'd be great.
And also, Betsy, I thought it might be fun if one day when we got all organized and had them lined up, that they could be on the website so people could possibly
Yes.
tune in for 5 to 10 minutes, you know, at the beginning.
Insights to the
Yeah.
world, yeah.
Okay, you're stuffing up.
Yes.
All right. And the cat hasn't even been around, has he?
No, but it's
He's around.
It's-
He's always around. Cats are always around.
there. It is. All right. If there's no other things for the agenda, on the agenda, is there a motion to?
Pardon me, just the next meeting date is
December 9th.
December 9th. Okay.
Yes. It's the second Monday of the month.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right. All in favor of adjourning? Aye.
Oh, did we have a motion?
Do you have a motion? I make a motion to
No,
adjourn.
we need a second.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Sorry.
Aye.